You know, just because.
Rawr, hello there.
What day doth it be?
It doth be hump day.
Whoa, whoa.
What's up, Raz?
Not much. Hey, you noticing product unavailability. What sort of stuff are you trying to get a hold of that you can't?
Well, you know, shit that's really popular, and yeah.
Well, that narrows it down. I was just curious because I don't know. There's still a lot of stuff in stock that I'm finding, at least that I've been looking for. So,
Well, clean your ass, JayBo. We'll be here for about an hour, so hopefully it don't take you that long.
Good luck finding any Tango 2s.
yeah, but who wants that overpriced garbage?
Definitely me.
No, we gotta do that whole. We gotta repeat that word for word when a vampire shows up.
Yeah.
Did he get one too?
No, he wants to jump E-drone for his.
He wants one really bad, and I know why.
He's fixing to come to your house and take it.
Come and take it over my dead body.
What price point did that come in at, Erik?
$199.
That's not bad.
No, it isn't
Not
that bad.
considering the price of a QX7 plus a Crossfire module. I don't think so at all. With all of the gimbals.
No, the only thing I'm noticing now, again, this is price, not ergonomics, but that T16 or T18 now has an integrated Crossfire option too with the Hawk gimbals for $189.
But that's pretty much larger than the than.
That's pretty much larger than anything except for a FUBA.
A FUBA.
Oh, there he is. John's back. You want to talk to him about what you were saying, Josh, about good luck finding any Tango 2s?
Yeah, well, I said, who would spend that much on an overpriced piece of garbage?
I would. I love it. You see that, John? You like that, baby? Oh, yeah.
Rub it.
All these thumbers with their lack of control.
Oh, I love not being in control.
Hey, from everything I've heard, that thing's actually really decent for pinchers too.
I've seen pinchers using it. Yeah, well, I mean, technically, you can pinch anything. For a while, there was a lanyard loophole that they were sending that wasn't offset enough, and so it made it really back heavy or something. I think the newer one, they changed the location of the loop to make it so it was more, you know, evenly weighted. Because that makes a big difference.
Mine didn't come with the lanyard, but you can see where the placement is. It's right there below the screen.
Yeah,
right. And if you put something right on there, the whole thing kind of leans backward towards you, which if you're one of those, you know, even pincher that actually holds the remote, that's not going to be as big of a deal. But me, I don't. My hands float all over the place, so that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Well, you can get those lanyard things anywhere.
Yeah, with that one, you got to be a little careful, only because you can end up covering your screen.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, you can definitely cover the screen.
Who cares?
But yeah, I mean, normally the only time I look at my screen once I've got it set up is when I'm turning it on and turning it off, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's fair, because I don't really look at mine either.
I don't look at mine at all.
No, seriously.
Yeah. So turn it on, make sure it's connected. Okay, fly.
Yeah. I'm
But
gonna dim my halo a little bit. It's kind of, whew, there we go.
For those of you guys that just joined in, we were just talking about not being able to find some stuff on the FPV stores, and of course, you know, Josh, he uses that cheapo beta fail stuff, so you know he can get anything he wants. But I was actually looking for basically anything from Flight 1, and there's nowhere.
To be fair, though, I don't think that's pandemic sparked. Flight 1 has been having problems keeping things in stock since well before all this epidemic.
Yeah, but I mean, even the old Schizo boards are sold out, man.
Really?
Yeah. I've been looking for, of course, I've been looking for the ESC, the new hotness, the freestyle. Good fucking luck, man. I actually did find, I actually did find one in Australia for $84.
Oh, ouch.
Not including shipping.
That's I mean, that's not even right. I mean, that's price gouging.
Nope. It helps me crash better.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I tried to dive into the Flight 1 a little bit, but I just went right back to familiar, and I'm lazy and I like familiar, and I went right back to Betaflight. So speaking of Betaflight, Josh, you got some exciting information that you've been researching on the new Betaflight 4.2.
Oh, so we're just going to burn through all the topics in the first 5 minutes, huh? Fuck
That's
it.
all right. I mean, we can bounce around. It's just with 3 people trying to steer the show. I mean, look, so since we're on the topic, because I am curious, Erik, your Tango, does it have the sticks that fold?
Yes, it does. It's, I thought it would be like a pull-out twist type of deal, but no, it's literally you pull and it just folds. There's no twisting involved, which kind of shocked me. And then you can literally just kind of like just touch it like this, and it just pops right back. And it feels like very robust. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's gonna tear up or break. I mean, to pay an extra $50 just for that feature, you would expect and hope that it's going to be a very durable feature.
Hey, what's going on? Ricky Peacock and Sidewinder. A late hello to Raz. Yeah, I was just curious about that because it's one of those things, because of the way the stick sits in that well, you want it to be tight enough that you don't have any of that weird play. Like, you don't want any wobble in there, but you don't want it so tight that it's hard to seat in there. But, I would imagine the edges are chamfered on the inside or beveled, which just kind of helps it slide into place. And it's probably spring loaded to hold them in. I think that's what you were saying. Honestly, it's like a really good feature to me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you take a transmitter that's already, compact in itself, and then you even add let's not even worry about our sticks getting broken, and be able to break it down in an instant of 5 seconds.
Well, here's the thing. Imagine if for your Tyrannus, if you could buy a set of gimbals that had that feature in them. Because especially for us, we're not throwing our stuff in a big suitcase and putting it in the trunk of our car. We're throwing these things into backpacks with a bunch of other stuff and trying to be as mobile as possible. One of the big things that sticks out on every transmitter are the gimbals. Between that and the switches, those are the things that would get broken or damaged.
Well, I've never met anyone that broke one of their gimbals. Switches, on the other hand, don't get me started. We've been through this.
Yeah.
The switches are a little bit to get used to, just because with them not being raised as much and being as in your face as the Tyrannus switches are, especially when you got your goggles on. It took me a minute to do my arming switch, which I did this push button switch here. And it's taken just a little bit to get used to doing that. But once I get the hang of it, and I have the audible alert too, that helps, knowing that I pushed it in all the way. But it really is very hard to accidentally push that down. Like, you really have to purposely push that down to get it to arm, which I like.
So that's not a rocker. That's a press switch.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to show up on the camera. But yeah, it's just a press in, press out switch. Yep.
Toggle.
Yep. And then you have your 3 position switches as well.
JayBo wants to know if you're a thumber and did you have to extend the sticks?
I am a thumber, and I did not have to extend the sticks. For me, the way they came from the factory is perfect. They feel just like my QX7 did on the thumbs, although I'm able to get the full travel around the gimbals, which I wasn't really able to on the Tyrannus. And still be able to hold it, on the side and have access to all the buttons. No problem. And just, I don't know if you can hear this, but just listen to this clicking. If my speaker will pick it up, just listen. I mean, it's a rock solid. When you start doing anything with this antenna, it just feels very robust, and it feels like it's just quality. I would say that the quality of this, to me, hands down, is no less than a PS4 controller.
Well, I would hope so, but I've burned through some PS3 controllers, so when I was still playing games.
Yeah.
And none of mine cost $200.
Yeah.
All right. So then the big question, and it may be too early, but how many packs do you have under that thing now?
I'd say probably about 12 to 14.
Okay.
Because I started using this when I did my 1 to 2 pack a day challenge. So I've been doing that for about a week.
Do you feel like it has positively impacted your flying?
Oh, absolutely. It's impacted my flying in the fact that I have a confidence now that I didn't really have with the QX7, because even though I recognize the QX7 and it was familiar, the overall size of it and how far I had to stretch my fingers to reach the full resolution on the sticks always had me not really going to the full stick capacity, or whatever you want to call it, the full stick deflection. Excuse me.
Interesting.
So, because I got that full stick deflection now, plus the controller, I gotta admit, because it's so much smaller and lighter, it feels so much different. It almost feels like it's like I'm not holding like a real controller because it's so much lighter and smaller.
See, I don't know if I would like that.
I love it, man, because when I have to grab my gear and go, carrying this is so much easier than carrying that QX7 and my goggles and my quad. So
no, that's interesting. I always think it's an interesting question to ask people that are changing gear that is, personalized, or it can be as personalized, and it's so important, your connection to that transmitter, because I know when I went from the Fly Sky, the thing that came with the Wizard, to the Evolution, the Turnigy Evolution, I never really fully felt like I liked the way it felt in my hands, but it didn't change the way I flew. Then I got the QX7, which again, when I first got it, I was a thumber, did not change the way I flew. And so for me, the format hasn't really affected things a whole lot. What it really affected it for me was the way I used it, the way I held it. But it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just having that confidence, that when I hold it in my hand, I know I don't have to make any adjustments while it's in my hand to get the full stick deflections that I need to get.
Interesting. Now, how many times have you had to charge it?
Once.
Okay.
That's the next thing I'm going to get at, because I have every intention on doing a pros and cons video, a month later. And right now, the biggest pro to me, other than the size of it, is the battery life. It's amazing. And what's just so awesome about it is you charge it without even realizing you're charging it when you have it, because when you hook it to the computer to set things up or change a sound or whatever, you start charging right then and there. So it's like, oh, I'm charging it while it's on the computer. Another perk. I don't have to actually pull the battery out and throw it on a balance charger. You know what I mean? Like I did with my QX7. Not that I had to do it that very often, but it seems like the battery is definitely lasting, because I've only charged it one time and I still have probably over half.
Good. Good
Got
deal.
a couple questions here for you. John wants to know, did it come with the lanyard mount? And good old Ricky Peacock, love the name, wants to know if you use a lanyard.
I don't use a lanyard at all, actually. The last time I used a lanyard was with like my Phantom drone. It did not come with the lanyard either. This is the Pro version, but the one that I got did not come with a lanyard. I got it from Defiance RC. It did come with a little keychain that looks like a little. I gave it to her daughter, but I'll see if I can find it. But it's pretty cool. Anyway, I can't find it. I don't know what she's done with it, but anyway, it looks like a little controller, and it's like a little keychain. They only give you those with the first run of these. But yeah, if you can find them and you're a thumber, and you like gaming style controllers, man, this is the controller for you. If you're running just Crossfire.
And in setting it up, the interface really wasn't an issue of any kind either, with the screen being so small and everything.
No, the screen being small doesn't bother me at all because the LEDs are so bright that the font, I mean, you can see it clear as day, almost like it just on a big screen. The font's so clear and bright, and it's the same exact experience you get with OpenTX. There's really no difference. It's the same layout, same pages, everything.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, that's cool. I mean, there are definitely some features of that caught my eye, having integrated Crossfire, having the antenna built in and on a swivel the way it is. Just some of those little attentions to detail can definitely make a big difference. And again, some of those features, if they were available in the same capacity on a full size, for anybody in FPV who's living out of a backpack, I think it'd be a very attractive. You know, having rocker switches, maybe a depress switch the way you have, having foldable gimbals, you know, on a full-size transmitter, those would still be attractive features.
Absolutely. The only thing I'd be a little nervous about with this one is dropping it. So, you know, like, you know, the QX7 and the X9D, some of those bigger controllers have been known to take a tumble, and yeah, you might have to replace a switch here or there, but the transmitter itself, you know, has held up. I don't think you'd have the same result with this transmitter. I think if you drop this transmitter a couple times, you'd probably damage it.
Dude, that antenna'd be gone. Yeah, I never drop my transmitter anymore because Sidewinder makes these wonderful custom lanyards. Oh, so comfortable. I just lay down in my bed and rub it some. Oh shit, we're live. Okay, sorry.
Comfy.
Yeah, I'm a pincher, but I definitely have a lot. I see John reminding us that he's a pincher as well, and I rely on my lanyard. For me, it's not a thing like so I don't drop it or it doesn't slip. Like mine serves a functional purpose. All of the weight of the transmitter is held by the lanyard around my neck.
Oh, dude, I'm pushing down on my transmitter basically all the time. After a good 10 packs, I gotta take it off and be like, even with that comfortable custom lanyard, because I pushed down on my transmitter. It makes it steady for me. You know how my sticks are, so any little thing helps.
Yeah.
You know, I would say this much, Josh, because of the way it fits in your hand, even the back, as far as the contouring that goes inward on either side, I don't even think you would need a lanyard pinching it. It just cradles the hand in a way that you can actually pinch it just like this. And because of there's no additional weight that you really need to hold, you would definitely get away with pinching with this with no lanyard. No problem.
Break that damn antenna off the first day.
Well, Erik, you know, the proof's going to be in the pudding, so you're going to have to work on that footy, son.
I've been trying, man. I've been trying more than I have ever. So,
yeah.
Now I don't know what to do with all the footage, but I'll just throw it all together as I flew, you know, 2 packs a day for this long, and here you go.
Hey, Jeff, I thought your lady stole that one, dude, and you never saw it again.
John says, "Oh my God, came out with some crazy fishbone tape for the Tango."
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
John, I know John. He would have that thing completely wrapped up, custom. He'd have vampire logos all over it. It would look sick.
Yeah, Ricky said the dexterity keeps it in the digits, but I just don't hold my transmitter that way. Like I started out, and like if I ever fly without a lanyard, you know, obviously I'm very conscious, but even then, I just can't get the same stick throw and all, which is why I think my hands just kind of rotate to over top, and then I just do whatever I need to do.
This is what me and Josh do is like the meat of your hand there gets set on the top of the controller and acts as the table, kind of like the old school guys with the planes and shit.
Yeah. Just like I was actually looking for one of those well, I'm going to call it a lanyard, a strap, but a lot of these have like shoulder straps and they actually have a table that the transmitter mounts to. I was looking for one of those till I saw they were like $200 and I was like, never mind.
Oh, yeah, wow. They're all made for giant $2,000 Futabas.
I know. And at which that point, it's a really good investment, but I'm good. I just need a lanyard.
Yeah, and if that's the way you've been flying for this long, it would be kind of hard for you to go, you know, try something different where you're actually holding the transmitter and not being on top.
Yep. And somebody said, you know, a lot of people that don't use lanyards sit. Well, that's the other thing. Not only do I really prefer, for the reasons we've stated, to have a lanyard, but I do not like sitting when I fly. I like to be standing. I'm okay leaning, but I don't like sitting when I fly.
I used to be the same. I used to be the same way, but you know, after this last winter, I got used to sitting in my truck, so it doesn't really matter for me at all.
Same, Chuck.
No.
I can do it standing. I can do it sitting. Sometimes when it's real hot out, I just can't be standing there because I'll start sweating even more.
Even sitting though, I'm still lanyard because I push down like I was talking about.
Yeah. So I've been
bitches,
trying to get
Razman just got a message for y'all.
Thanks, Ray.
Do it. So I've really been excited about a lot of the reading I'm doing with 4.2. 4.2 brought a lot of changes to the table, and not like frivolous changes, but like really, really core to the way everything works changes. But I'm trying to put it on my secondary drone, and it's not taking it. Like, it takes the firmware. I can see the lights, like I can see the transmitter tab, like everything's acting the way it should. But when I arm, it doesn't arm. I can go into the motors tab and hit the switch and drag it up, and all the motors work. But something through the software, something in the image is bad. So I'm working with Diatone right now to figure out what it is. But I'm really glad I didn't try to put it on my old reliable.
Well, you know, I have so much to say about Betaflight, you know, so I'll just.
Thank God.
You using the oh my God. You're using the well, I forgot what I was, you know what? Complete brain fart, just gone, just like that. You're talking about Betaflight, and then something kicked in my mind because you said you're working with that Diatone stack. Okay.
Yep, the F405 Mark II.
Yeah, that's a solid stack for the money.
Yeah, now it's not the one with the 30 or 35 amp ESC, the ones that Chris likes. It's got a 50 amp ESC, but I only did that for, well, two things, for the filtration and for the pad placement. Because it was like an extra $5 or something, so it was totally worth it. But everything is wired right and everything works, but there's a problem in Betaflight itself for that board. And I think part of the problem comes, you know, Betaflight is now switching to what they call unified targets versus the legacy targets. And I think something in there, I've tried both the new unified and the legacy, and it's not going anywhere. So then I tried putting it back to 4.1, and it's still not firing up. So I have no idea what's going on.
I think when they did the unified and the legacy, I think it confused a lot of people. because now you've got two of the same which looks like the same firmware, other than one word's different, and you have to try and figure out, well, which one do I need? One of them has all your settings that you need to put on that flight controller. I get why they were doing it, but it's almost like it was an incomplete product and they just put what they had out there. You know what I mean? You would like it to be automatically detect, which one you need to use to have all the settings to get you running.
Right. It's way too fucking funny. I'm sorry. I've been cracking up the whole time. I don't even know why. Too much caffeine, I think.
Why can't you be like this in the morning?
Good luck.
I need this in the morning, sometimes. I need this, Chuck.
I'm here to serve all your needs, Erik.
See, and that's why we get along.
One of the big things they changed in Betaflight now, you don't get to choose your gyro sample rate. Betaflight knows based on your gyro what its sample rate is, and that's what it sets it to, and that's what it uses. The end.
Now, what happens when you start mixing RPM filtering in with that? Or is it still taking that into account when it gives you those gyro speeds?
Well, remember that the gyro update speed really has no bearing on some of those other mechanisms. But the problem they were saying is, even though the PID loop will only update, so let's say that you have an 8K gyro, right? MPU 6000 is 8K, all right? You have an 8K gyro, you tell it to sample at 4K. So what it's doing is skipping every other post. It's not giving a good read of what the gyro is reading because it's skipping those packets. So because of that, even though the PID loop will only adjust every other, you still want every packet from that gyro data, or of that gyro data. So what they did, this is two things. They locked those gyro rates, and then they optimized the PID loop. Apparently, the PID loop itself was prone to quite a bit of latency. Okay, it had some delay in it, and some of that came into how it was interacting with the gyro loop, not running at the native speed and all that other stuff. So what they've done is, by optimizing it, made it more integral to everything. They stopped losing those packets. They reduced that latency, and that's where the ability for RPM filtering to do its job has been increased. Now, RPM filtering is important, but it's not this like life-changing, altering difference that some people say it is. I can turn it on and run it, and then turn it off and adjust my tune for without it. You wouldn't know the difference. All it's doing is cleaning up noise. It's not affecting prop wash. It's not like people imagine in their head that these switches do all this magic and it changes the way their drone flies.
But I thought the whole point of the RPM filtering was that it was going to knock out some of the uneducated guesses of what the noise frequencies were, so it could target it specifically to reduce the latency to actually give you a noticeable difference in your flying with your prop wash handling.
So correct. What the RPM filter is doing, see, the dynamic filter had to hone in and figure out where those spikes were. Well, what RPM filtering is static notches at every throttle point.
Right.
So none of that processing overhead comes into play. And because there's none of that processing overhead, there's no delay, which is why it works as well as it does.
So you get less latency, which should give you a little bit of better prop wash handling.
Well, correct. You get better latency, and you also get less noise coming through the gyro. But that has very little effect on prop wash, because prop wash is mostly, well, actually, let me take that back. It does have an effect on prop wash. Part of the reason I probably don't notice it is because I have worked so hard on my throttle management, when to apply the throttle, this and that, that's probably why I don't notice it as much.
Yeah, see, I do notice it, because I'm terrible about throwing it at the last minute and giving it too much throttle because I didn't have it enough coming down. And then I need to overcompensate because I'm like, oh, I'm coming in too hot. And then I got to overcompensate. And that's when I get was noticing a lot of prop wash difference when I switched to the RPM filtering. I would get some, but nowhere near as much as I was before.
Yeah.
So
it's an easy thing to turn on. The biggest thing is that if you're running BL-Heli-S, you need that specialized firmware. If you're running BL-Heli-32 ESCs, it's just flip the switch and profit, you know? And it's a no-brainer. Like anything that cleans up your gyro data is a benefit.
Well, I was running the PID loop and the gyro at 4K because at 8K, running the RPM filtering with the F405, it was using up way too much processor percentage before I had even armed the copter. So you go ahead and arm the copter at that high of a percentage, and you're going to have a flip. Something's going to freak out somewhere. You can't overload it.
Especially with RPM filtering, because even though it doesn't use as much processor as a dynamic filter, let alone a series of dynamic filters, it increases the processor load a lot, which is why when I was running, you know, last year's hardware, I was running F7s, because when all that stuff started coming out, I could run 8K.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you ever have your gyro licked by a fat man in an overcoat?
I am that fat man in an overcoat, baby.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I like what they're doing. I like that Betaflight's going in that direction where they're going to give you the optimum setting for those values based on the type of gyro you're running. I do like that. I feel like that's a lot more intuitive, and it's going to give you the optimum results right out of the box type.
and then what a lot of us beta flighters are learning now is that, you know, your D-shot sample rate, your gyro rate, your PID loop rate, all interact. These are things that some people have been telling us for years that we just ignore, and we go, oh, turn it to the max. More is better. And what you find out is you were shooting yourself in the foot, because more is not better due to any multitude of reasons. So, you know, if you're running a 4K PID loop, then you run D-shot 300. If you're running an 8K PID loop, you run D-shot 8 or 600. You know, little things like that go a long way. And even with me running BL-Heli-S without the Jazz Maverick firmware, so no RPM filtering, I've noticed what a better job 4 and 4.1 did when I was matching up the D-shot sample rate to the PID loop rate. It worked better.
Absolutely.
And 4K, there's no problem with 4K. All the people that, you know, are stuck in that more is better, turn it up, 4K runs fine.
Well, look at Flight 1. You know, a lot of their gyros have been running at lower sample rates, and everybody raves about how they fly. So
after they went the opposite and tried going, you know, balls to the wall with it, and we're sampling at 16 and 32K.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they tried.
Speaking of Flight 1, I think it's pretty cool that the new Betaflight is going to be incorporating rates from other platforms.
So I think that's neat, but honestly, it's the actual rates that have my attention. Actual rates. So if you guys think when you put rates on, you think, and Chuck, this even applies to you. When you think about how you apply rates, you have your RC rate and then you have your super rate out at the end of the sticks or whatever the equivalent is. Well, the software will tell you what your rotations are out at the end of the sticks, but it never gives you a point of reference for the center. You just have that arbitrary RC rate that you set to whatever until it works and it feels good. Actual rates gives you two sets of rates, one for the inside of the sticks that you can set revolutions per minute, and one for the outside. And moving one does not move the other.
But see, on KISS though, the graph actually works properly. So you can use that end stick rate that it tells you to basically know what the curve's going to do.
But even without the graph, applying those numbers on the inner sticks has always been a guess in any flight software. Now it actually has a meaning, that number. Hence the name actual rates.
Yeah,
I don't see myself. I will probably play with it to play with the equivalents and see if I can make some minor adjustments to resolve some things that I know have always been on my mind but seem unachievable. But for a new pilot, what that thought was supposed to end with was, but I don't think that I'm going to get the same benefit because I've been flying the same rates so long that I'm ingrained in them. But for a new pilot that's trying to figure out their rates, it's going to be huge.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
Jeff, don't feel bad, man. If it works for you, who gives a shit?
Yep. But when you're ready, there's a lot of videos out there. I even did one myself that talk to you about how to apply your rates. And I'll tell you, when you make those sticks match what your head thinks it should be doing, imagine if, your brain told your arm, okay, move your arm, but it always moved in a way that was kind of unpredictable. You'd get to a point where you could control it, but it would always be this conscious thing like, oh, I got to be careful because my arm could, just run rampant and hit me. When you set your rates, what you're doing is taking all that guess out and you're making all the movements natural to you. You're personalizing them.
Yeah, and it's just like when I jump on the sim, when I fly my rates around 800 degrees per second. When I go on the sim and I go to the freestyle rates, which is supposed to be very similar to Betaflight on liftoff, I fly around 730 some odd degrees per second. And to be honest with you, on the simulator, it's starting to feel better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and incorporate that into my rates for my actual quad and try flying a little bit even slower and see if that feels better, because on the simulator, it does feel better.
Mm-hmm. I've actually had the most trouble with rates on center stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just can't find a comfortable place because you two at least know I got twitchy sticks. I make up for it with butthole puckering factor, but I do, and it's my hands, and I think I might need to take a little more tension off my sticks, but I just don't want to take my damn transmitter apart again.
What about deadband, Chuck?
I use deadband. I've put it as high as I can make it without it being completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I've tried no expo, and just using the whatever you guys call it, RC rate, and the other one to make the curve like expo. And I've tried not doing that and using expo to, from barely anything to flat as hell. And
yeah, I think even more important than PID tuning nowadays is you gotta find good rates that work for you. Because I just been flying stock PIDs and I think it's been handling just fine, with stock PIDs. But the rates, if you give me a quad that has rates that I'm not used to, I won't be able to fly it well at all. Like Josh's, I get on Josh's controller and I'm just like, whoa, I'm lost.
maximum beard level, bro.
I mean, I know when I got on it, I understood why he had it that way, but it would take a lot of getting used to for me. And for me, it felt too slow for me, and the way I like it to feel.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. My inner sticks are extremely conservative. I run a 0.57 RC rate. I like to have to move the sticks to get a reaction because, when I want to be really precise and I do want to make micro adjustments by moving it that little bit, my drone's only, moving a little bit. It's not moving a lot. And so I use my full stick deflection all the time. I don't live in just the center of the gimbals. And then at my outside, I'm running like 690 degrees per second.
Okay, I thought you were going a little higher than that, but that makes sense.
No. How much time do you spend out there, and why is it so important to have a high rate out there?
Well, for some pilots, I would agree that you do need a higher rate because you're trying to pull off that maneuver, being low to the ground, and you needed to do it quick. I would understand that.
Yeah,
because
but there's
you have a limited amount of time when you want to perform that maneuver before you're going to hit the ground if you're flying low. And if you have that turned up on the outside, you can really get an extra half flip in there and pull it off.
Well, I think Josh's point of view has always been that you need to learn to fly so you don't put yourself in that situation, therefore keeping all your movements a lot smoother.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when they're new to this hobby, and look, I'm not kicking anybody in the nuts because I was the same way. Your initial reaction is more, move fast, do something trippy. And if you can't do the simple things, why are you trying to jump straight up to the hard things? And here's why I say this about having those extreme stick rates. Even a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people that have them can't pull off precise maneuvers with them. They only do full stick deflection 1,000 feet in the air where there's a lot of room for error. A lot of people aren't doing stuff low to the ground or through gaps. So who are they trying to kid, themselves or everyone else? Because they're not fooling me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's definitely a certain type of pilot that would benefit, I think, from having that higher interaction and rotations at the end of the throw for doing those real precise maneuvers with a very limited amount of time to pull it off. But yeah, your average Joe Schmo who's up, 200 feet in the air doing power loops, yeah, he doesn't need, 1,200 degrees per second. No.
So my rates are slow because control. I've always put a focus on control. And I've tried to preach that to other people, like learn to fly before you learn to trick, quote unquote, If you can't fly precisely, if you can't put your drone exactly where you want it to be, if you can't, do those simple flying things, what makes you think you're going to do anything impressive, tricky? So
True. And that's kind of the same way I learned, actually. I decided rather than trying to learn all the tricks first, I wanted to learn because of the style I like to fly. Not everybody flies the same now, but the style that I like to fly, I like that smooth cinematic type and then transition into a trick. That's just what I like personally. You have other people out here who they just want to do the baddest ass trick they can through the middle of a bulging window that's broken out of a car and pull it off. And they don't really care if it looks smooth as long as the trick gets executed. You have multiple different types of flying styles. But like I said, for me, I do like the slow kind of cinematic type. And it makes sense because what did I start out with? Camera drones, right? So, of course, I'm going to like that nice cinematic shot, that nice smooth transition. I'm just not one of those, there's some people out here, they can pull off some really badass tricks and still look smooth, and more power to them.
So, two things I'm going to address. The first is somebody said flippy floppy is easier with faster rates. I disagree. Flippy floppy is a style which has nothing to do with your stick rates. Now, obviously, if you're going extreme, I got to find my charger.
Hey, while he's doing that, I actually have the outside of my sticks are set to about 711 degrees, which isn't all that fast. It's kind of in the middle somewhere. And if you go to my stick end, I've done tricks where I've done that, and Josh is like, "What the fuck is that? What are you even doing? I can't even see what you're doing."
Oh no! 3, 2, 1.
I know. I was waiting for it.
I keep an eye on mine too.
So yeah, and I mean that's been my thing with everybody. So then somebody asked, "Well, where do I start?" You start with your RC rate. Okay, start by taking your super rate and turning it down. Like you don't want the outside of your sticks. Let's be conservative. To me, more than say 600, 700 degrees per second, right? Because you don't care about that. We're not talking about that right now. And then you want to take your RC rate, which is your center stick rate, and you want to start lowering it. You want to lower it. I've always advised these guys start at like 0.7, 0.8, somewhere in there, because to me, starting at 1, 1.1, 1.2 is too fast. But notice I'm kind of throwing my hands in the air because that's going to be a very personal thing, right? But what you want to do is you just want to fly then. No tricks. We're not talking about snap rolls. We're not talking about gapping. Like I want you to fly a nice smooth arc around a tree and a nice smooth, figure eight around a group of trees. And if it's not natural, like say it still feels like everything's moving a little fast, turn it down and then do it again. And I'm not talking about do this for 10 seconds. You do this for a whole pack. Okay. I know people are sitting there right now going, oh, it sounds boring. But if you're still finding your rates, one, you probably do or could use the practice. Two, you can't make a change in 10 seconds later. No, like you just can't. You have to give it an honest effort. So what you're doing is you're trying to hone in and get close, right? Once you find your RC rates and that center of that stick is moving and you're flying and you're able to maneuver and you feel like you're always in 100% control, then you can worry about the outside. But nobody cares if you're running 1,400 degrees per second on the outside if they can't tell what you're doing.
I beg to differ. There's one person, well, maybe two, but the only one I care about is Holysquish. That guy is a freaking maniac. There is nothing smooth about his flying whatsoever, but it is amazing to watch. Don't even give me that look, dude. His shit is twitch, twitch, twitch. But dude, he knows how to do it.
No, see, you say twitch. He's doing fast movements, but he's not second guessing his movements. When he makes a move, he sticks to it. He's not like, indecisive on his movements. Yeah, he's quick. No, well, to me, that's when I say somebody's twitchy, it looks like they're out of control. It's because they're always correcting. Twitch moves fast, but Twitch commits to his moves.
His name is Twitch now.
I meant Squish.
Well,
I'm going to change his name in Messenger.
Flying style, and it's almost like you don't know where you're heading until you're already there. But
any of us is definitely able to talk you through those steps. Again, there's multiple videos. Even myself, I did one. To pat myself on the back a little bit. I got a lot of good reception over that one because I just tried to break it down and keep it simple without constantly building, oh, now this, oh, now this, oh, now this. It was like, no, do this, learn to fly, and then check back.
Hey, what do you guys think about doing a slap and strap tonight? We've had a pretty good chat today. Yeah, it's like 16 some people was in here.
I know, and unfortunately, I did not set up the sheet. And if I start trying to do it now, I think everything's gonna die.
Oh, all right. Dang.
Give me a second. Let me see. If it starts crapping, I'm gonna say to heck with it. Here in a minute, we're gonna have a community spotlight too. I know some of you guys are here because I left a message on your YouTube stating that, I liked your video and we were going to highlight it tonight. So we're getting there.
Cool. I can't believe it's already 9:47. The heck's the time?
Topics.
That's what makes the show. Get people yapping.
I ain't got no problem here.
Well, he's jerking off doing whatever he's doing. I found a couple, not super topics or anything, just interesting things. Is that UPS is actually firing like 10% of its crew.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So everybody's saying that the digital economy is booming. Well, apparently the floor fell out.
No kidding.
So I don't know how that would be, but that is something that I heard was going on and I believe to be true.
Has anything to do with drone delivery systems?
No, that's actually the other cool little tidbit I found out is that they did a study over in Sweden, or maybe it was Germany. I think it was Germany, about drone delivery systems and their energy efficiency. Now, they found out that just having a UPS van is about 20 times more energy efficient than using a drone in a city. You get out into the boondocks and it becomes about equal. So
just what, because of all the interference, just making the batteries die down quicker or something?
Energy efficiency, man. How many packages can you fit in a drone?
No, yeah, so it's the back and forth type thing.
Yeah, you could put 1,000 of them in the freaking van.
Right.
So, they're getting all this crazy with the rules so they can do this commercial droning, and maybe it's cool in like downtown New York or something if they make it a lot more precise, places where they still use bicycle messengers and stuff. But man, they're investing all this infrastructure in this, and unless the battery tech improves, it's, it's not efficient.
As soon as you said FAA, it went from 17 to 15.
I never said it. I never said it. If you don't speak of them, they don't exist.
Yeah, right. There's enough doom and gloom. I don't even want to talk about them.
They haven't been. Hey, they haven't. There's nothing to talk about. They haven't been doing shit except for getting infrastructure together for commercial. That's it.
Yeah. Which I have to bring this up while I have it real quick. Forgive me, but it does make me wonder with the new Mavic Air 2 and this new hot ADS-B technology, why couldn't they go for something more like this, where they put this technology or make it remotely able to put on externally or what have you? Why couldn't they put this technology on the drones and say, well, this will help to prevent these so-called collisions and crashes, because you'll get an alert and the drone can get itself out of the way of, possible manned aircraft or other delivery type drones. You know what I mean? All right. You know what the ADS-B technology is supposed to do is when there's another
it's LiDAR, isn't
aircraft,
it's LiDAR. It's the same shit on the front of my semi truck.
Yeah. So it's going to let you know if there's traffic approaching, and it's going to get itself out of the way.
All right, I'm just going to mute you. I'm such an ass. I'm sorry.
All right. I just wanted to squeeze in there for anybody watching. So I know we have some watchers from Facebook and some on YouTube. You got to use that form to enter the Slap and Strap giveaway. We're going to give it a couple minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so, while we do some other stuff. If you're interested in winning some slaps and straps, aka stickers and battery straps, I have to remember to get some from Chris at some point so I can show people.
God, yeah. FPVNoobTube, fucking stupid backward shit. Sorry. FPVNoobTube slap straps.
Hey, how do I mute you? There we go.
All right. Oh, now there's two of you.
Now I feel like I had to feel equal, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I've been catching up. So, yes, I missed some things here and there. But I tell you what, the last week or so, I've really enjoyed just kind of catching up with everything. And here's some noteworthy things that stuck out at me. So, what we've got here, this is SkootrFPV. And yes, I know that there could be some audio come through. I hit mute, so we'll see. And Scooter, I've loved watching Scooter because he's a proximity guy, right? So he likes getting close to things. He likes getting up in things. But he's very active.
Josh, I'm going to stop you right there. It's so glitchy, it ain't worth watching.
Is it that bad?
It's very much
real
so.
choppy. Oh, yeah. It's
right.
like 5 seconds in between clips.
Your process.
Yeah, my computer sucks.
Fuck you. Next time we'll set it up on mine, dude.
Yeah, use that supercomputer you just got, Chuck.
I don't have his list pulled up, so next time we'll see. I am doing it off of phone Wi-Fi, so that may affect it, but
maybe we could just call them out and maybe just go to their channel or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. And mind you guys, all the links are also in the description. So, oh well. It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
So who are the cool guys? Who are the cool guys I need to check out?
Well, the cool guys would be SkootrFPV, Jed FPV, JayBo FPV, Holysquish, Matty FPV. That is not Matty Stunts. Vampire 4997, and ELBUHOFPV. ELBUHO. I don't even know how to say that. Again, guys, it's in the description. It sucks that we can't really share that with you, but these are some good clips. And some of these, sometimes I post. I'm throwing this out there because obviously I've been collecting these. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sometimes there's a new guy, and I noticed that he's making some good progression, and I really appreciate it, and I enjoy it, and so I throw him in there too. But there's some good stuff in there. Yeah, but even without watching it, look, Scooter, if you guys want to check it out while I'm talking about it here, he's got good flow. He's always active, so he's always doing something. There's no time where he's just cruising, or very rarely. And he's always up and in stuff. So he's one of my favorites, has been for a long time.
Hey, with Vampire, is the one you were going to play the Brando Bando?
Yes.
Oh my God! You guys need to go to Vampire's channel. Not his last video. That one was kind of blah. I'm kidding. The one before that, it's this really cool spot that I believe Erik Edron actually found, and it's not going to be there for long. So the videos that come out of it are kind of golden. And dude, he rips that spot, man. He flies those gaps through those gaps so fast. I was like, I'm the butthole pucker king, dude. I was clinched. What was it called, John? That video with the Brando or the Bando?
The Brando Bando, man.
He did really good. John is somebody who, when I started watching him, 2 years ago, he only flew one parking lot. He only flew over the parking lot. He wouldn't get anywhere near a tree or anything else. And now he's starting to get in stuff. He's starting to just, close in a little bit with some of the proximity. And John's got good control. He's got good flying skills. It's time to see some of that stuff go to the next level.
Who says I didn't? Little bit.
The hell? My stuff's froze, dude.
You're fine.
Holysquish. The reason I put that video of his in here is because Squishy's been working on Squishy style for a while. And, Squish started just doing the normal flying, and then he kind of backed off. He found his rates. Then he worked on his stick ends. Then he started getting an idea for how he liked to fly. But we've been able to watch that progression. And look, it's on his channel. And it started looking kind of weird, where he'd pop in the air and kind of rock back and forth a little bit. And he'd pop in the air and yaw back and forth a little bit, to where now he's got this whole Squishy style going on. And he's really been able to refine it. And when you top that off with flying at his last location, actually, I should say locations, because he flopped into different environments on top of taking his editing skills up a notch. Oh my God, there's all this stuff wrapping together in one video that is noteworthy.
And I tell you what, I have not seen, he does the juicy style, I guess you'd call it, but I don't think it's that anymore. He kind of took it to a new place. Nobody flies. I've not seen one person that flies anything like he does. It's psychotic. If you get motion sickness, don't watch that shit. If you want to see some crazy shit, that just some original flying, then it's Holysquish is one word. Joseph Ford. Holy shit. Thanks for the bucket. Thanks for the bucket, you cheapskate.
99 cents.
Couldn't even give $1.
So Jed FPV. Now this guy, all of his flying that I've seen is fast. So whatever he's doing, he likes to do it fast. Now, on his latest video, it's a little bit of a slow opening, but there's an awning running over a pathway, and he's up in the trusses flying through there. So he's not doing 180 through there. But then he goes to his outdoor park fly, and he's flying through and over the trees at 100 miles an hour, and it has really good energy. And again, I enjoyed watching it. So, JayBo, what do you say? JayBo's an old classic. He keeps popping up on our lists. But sometimes you'll see, and look, we're all guilty of this. This is not a stab. Sometimes it's a little bit of the same stuff, but then you know, sometimes he throws something unique in there, you know, if he gets a new trick or he flies a new location, but it's never a disappointment. It's not like, oh God, what's he doing? You know, it's like, oh, it's Scooter. Let's see. And he's always in there gapping something. That's why Scooter's in this list. Or sorry, I was talking about JayBo. That's why JayBo is in this list.
Dude, I like
Yeah, I
JayBo,
really
man.
feel like if you can't get to different locations, you really got to be unique in your flying style to keep doing the same locations over and over again. I mean, you really have to be creative with it and fly different lines and do different styles, and that's really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed just flying the same spot for a week straight, how I get in that rut of wanting to do the same thing, same maneuver. I'm like, nope, I got to change it up. I got to do something different. You know, it's hard.
Well, but see, there's a point where when you're learning something new, that's the whole point, is to practice and you repeat. You know, you do it, you do it, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it until you feel like you can lock it in.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, for practice, yeah, but when you're actually trying to get footage to share, that's where it becomes difficult if you're flying the same exact spot and hitting the same lines and posting the same location. If you're going to do that, you really got to change up your flying, you know, your moves and stuff for those vids.
Guys, thank you very much for the stickers. You guys are awesome. Just for anybody, I know we haven't pressed it in a while, or we haven't even mentioned it in a while, but any of the ad revenue, any of the donations that come to the channel, we use to buy stuff that we only use for giveaways. So like the stickers, the battery straps, any of the motors and the hardware and the things that the straps, sorry, the lanyard straps, any of that stuff that we've bought in the past for giveaways from your money has turned right back around to you guys. So for you guys that donate, thank you. For you guys that don't, not a problem. We don't expect it, but know that we flip it all right back to you guys. I'm also going to throw out there
for you to fix the drawing. So I guess
I'm
Joe wants to win.
What happened with the drawing, because I thought everything was good.
Oh, did it not go? Did it not happen?
We're gonna have to find out. Oh, that drawing. Well, so far we have 4 responses, but I'm thinking he meant the 3D model, and he probably found a problem, but I don't know what that would be.
I think you're reading too much into it.
Could be. Oh, check pixel. He's sending stuff to my phone, which is in the other room. Probably that janky printer he's running. Like every third print, it decides that, you know, it wants to do its own thing, and it prints him a yarn ball.
Send it to me, Joe.
So you're still streaming on Facebook and YouTube, I say.
Yeah.
Is anybody over on the Facebook?
Yeah, we've had a few watchers tonight from Facebook.
Oh, good, good. Now, when you do the giveaways, does that branch out to both platforms or only one?
That's why we have to use the giveaway form.
I gotcha.
Basically, it's the same shit Joshua Bardwell does.
Yeah.
For his giveaways.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. His is a little fancier, but yeah.
That's okay. So just so everyone knows, Raz, Off Axis, Jeffrey Style, and Sidewinder are all looking for stickers and battery straps. Some of these guys have won before, not once, but multiple times. So they're just trying to build their own collection.
Let me see if I got it.
I'm pretty sure that Ray is trying to figure out how to build an entire tarp panel out of stickers. So,
hey, you want to throw that link up for him for a last chance if anybody else wants in?
All right, that's fair.
I got one somewhere.
Oh hell, I have one somewhere too. I don't know where the hell it is though.
There we go.
I mean, I'll tell you this much: they have a really good grip on that battery, and they're pretty durable, I think. And you get the logo right there, of course, obviously.
So anybody that goes way back with this channel will remember Icky. Icky and Chuck really and Chuck will always say, no, it wasn't me. Chuck pressured him into it, but Icky and Chuck really kicked off this FPVNoobTube thing. And Icky, right before he decided he was done with it all, bought like a metric ass ton of straps.
And they are double stitched on the buckle. It's a plastic buckle, but it's double stitched.
Dude, those are actually really good straps.
And they weren't intended, like they weren't high dollar. It's the, you didn't have a lot of money to spend, because anybody that knows, when you buy, 1,000 of something, or 600, I think it was, you pay for it out of your pocket. So, given that they weren't top notch, they weren't Kevlar stitch, they weren't all those other things, they hold up really well.
I think so. I would agree with that.
Dude, Ricky, you're new to me, man, but you must be old school. You remember Ricky?
Vampire said you need to get some better internet, Josh. He gave it $2 more.
I wish I could say it was my internet, but it is my computer.
Oh, geez.
I use my work computer for personal stuff, so I don't have like a home computer, a work computer, carry them both around on the road with me. I just use what work gives me.
Yeah.
As is the case, the work computer is meant for sending emails and opening documents, not for all this other stuff we do. So,
yeah. Well,
no, I just bought the
not that bad.
I just bought the supercomputer, so next time around we'll try it on mine. Even though it may not work on mine, because I use phone. I'm doing everything off of a phone hotspot right now. So
right, which is another factor. But I'm actually jacked into my router, so.
Yeah.
Your camera doesn't seem bad on your computer, Josh.
Well, this is actually an external camera, a USB camera.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad. It's a $20 Logitech 720p.
Yeah.
I would like to have a nicer one, just like I would like to have a nicer computer, but there are certain other things that need to be paid first. So,
how you liking that S10 Plus?
It's good.
Oh.
Best
Dude,
phone I've ever.
You ought to be using the camera off that, dude.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, the camera on this phone, I told you, is mind blowing. I mean, for a phone camera, it's to me, it's just as good as a regular Canon or whatever else you got. I mean, it would do everything you needed to do.
Hey, Peacock's got a point. If you guys have not seen How to Build a Quad in 60 Seconds on Icky's channel, dude, that's one of his best ones, man. And I tell you what, he got so much shit for lighting that shit on fire. Hate, dude. We were laughing for like a month from that.
It was stone cold.
He burnt the GoPro. It was like an empty shell.
Well, but the thing is, like, it was stone cold hate, because when he took the flight controller and the ESCs and the motors and threw them on the ground and doused them in gas and set them on fire, there were people that thought they were legitimately good parts that were like, why would you just set that on fire? And he's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Genius. He wasn't even trying to. He didn't even know he was trolling fuckers, but he trolled them all, dude. Rotor Riot flipped their lid on him.
Oh, yeah. The Rotor Riot group, which at the time was the literal asshole of, the FPV community anyway. All right, guys. Well, let me get my random picker up here.
Get ready.
Yeah, that is
Josh,
I was unprepared.
Josh, best upgrade you can do to your Whoop is put some zings on it.
No doubt.
Put zings on anything, dude. You become an ace pilot. Some ethic straps and some zings.
Man, I'm flying through the house like I'm freaking Leanne Vanderbilt, whatever his name is.
There it is. All right.
Erik, the Facebook doesn't show up on the YouTube. It's just they don't mesh.
It doesn't show up. Oh, the giveaway.
Oh, dude, you just went tin can, Erik.
Oh man.
That's why I said there it is.
All you gotta do is plug in some headphones and then unplug them.
All right, I'll plug in my mic and then I'll unplug it. You can see how the new mic sounds, but I won't be able to hear you. That's the only downfall.
Y'all want to know why I don't use a phone like a millennial for everything under the sun and then some? Stuff like that.
Because you like ancient computers from the Apple II days.
Oregon Trail what?
Exactly.
All right, well, while he's messing with that.
Hello, testing.
There you
go.
go.
This is the sound of the microphone, but I can no longer hear you now. So
all right, we have 6
this isn't going to work, is it?
Nobody else has come in, so here goes.
Is it going now?
You're good, Erik.
Yeah, you're fine. And the winner is same person that always wins. Now, Erik, what's up, dog?
Yeah, it's someone different this time. Well, good.
Right?
We know how to get in touch with you, Erik, so we will.
Now, I know we need to remember the
Nice.
last two people that won because I don't think they ever got anything sent to them because we're assholes. But
All right, well, we need to get on that then. If I need to bring the mail back home and just send it out once a week, then I can do that.
Congratulations, Erik, man. You can use that for your greenhouse, bro.
Joe, I'm going to send you some stuff just for being awesome.
yeah,
You can take
Joe,
that strap and use it to mend the tomato plants or whatever.
what are you talking about? He's building a 5-inch, bro. He built one.
Oh, well, there you go. You can use it for that too.
All right.
Sidewinder, I knew you were one of them, bro. We're sorry, man. It's just I'm not even gonna get into it, but you'll get your shit, man.
It is. We have all of it. We know what's going on. We just need to get everything worked out. So
We'll
it's
send
not
you.
on your end. It's on ours. So
We'll
Well,
send
there's
you.
been a pandemic going on too, you know.
Shut up. We'll send you. We'll send you an extra one of each, just because we're assholes.
all right. All right, guys. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Apparently, I need to check something for the Fordo so we can get the Chucko taken care of. And it was a good stream. We appreciate all you guys being here. You guys that have been sharing content with us, keep sharing content. I really need to up. I keep saying I'm going to up the Instagram game, and then I don't. But I really need to up the Instagram game, or I should say we need to up it.
Hey,
So-
I've been posting. Erik's been posting. I don't know what
I've
you've been
posting,
doing.
man.
And then I fell off the wagon. So
Yeah.
See?
Dude,
Debut.
guys, go to my Instagram. I put a little badass mini flight video.
nice.
Oh, nice. All right. What is your handle on Instagram, Chuck?
Chuck_it_.
All right. I got it. I don't think I'm following you on Instagram, I don't think.
Well, of course not. It's not like you're my homeboy that helps me run a channel or anything.
See? It's the little things that we got to get situated. See?
All right, guys.
Have a good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
We'll see
Thanks
you
for
in
stopping
another
in.
2
Thanks
weeks.
for all your support. Appreciate
Everyone
it.
talk at the same time. It's the Erik Show, E-Drone Show. Hey, Ricky, thanks for coming in, man. I hope to see you in the future. I haven't seen you before, so welcome.
Erik, don't listen to Chuck. You're welcome here anytime.
Well, of course.
Oh, I don't listen to Chuck. I just talk over him.
Nobody listens to me unless I'm